Hey friends, today I want to talk about some things that I think white people can do to help each other move away from white supremacy. As I've been thinking about what are the things that I personally can do to move away from white supremacy, one of the things that has come to mind that I have not always done is that I haven't always spoken up when I hear other white people say something that I know is rooted in white supremacy or do something that is. So I've been thinking about what is it that makes it hard to have those conversations. Sometimes I'm able to, and sometimes I'm not. And often what makes it hard is that it doesn't feel safe. Sometimes that lack of safety is a true lack of safety. It might be very difficult for me to safely bring up a conversation about something white supremacist that my boss did, for instance, because that's someone who has actual power over me. But sometimes it's hard to bring up the conversation because it feels unsafe because of how uncomfortable it feels. And that kind of discomfort is something that I can work on in myself and learn to live with and move through, because it's not the kind of safety that truly threatens my well-being. It's a kind of safety that threatens my ego and my comfort. And that's something that's a great opportunity for me to really engage in. So I have an idea based in this that probably is not an original idea. And I want to say, first of all, that it's entirely possible that this is an idea that I have read from Black and brown activists that I have just finally internalized in myself. So I'm going to share it, but I also want to make sure that I am giving credit to all of the people who have written things and shared things with me that have helped me to come to have this idea. So the idea is, if it's hard to talk to people, to talk to other white people about white supremacy as it lives in ourselves, part of what I can do to make it more possible for those conversations to happen is to engage with my own defensive response, so that when someone tells me that I did something racist, I can stay, and I can also make it easier for them to stay by not getting angry and lashing out either at them or at myself. So that's one thing that we can all do. The next thing that we can all do is commit to having those conversations when we see another white person say or do something that's rooted in white supremacy, rather than letting it slide and leaving all of that work to the Black and brown people in our lives who really don't have an option to not stand up for themselves. I can step into those conversations. Research has shown that it's easier for white people to hear this from other white people, and it's a kind and loving thing to do for ourselves and each other. I see this kind of sort of confrontational but supporting conversation as a deep sign of respect, that you are someone who I value, and so I can't let you continue to demonstrate the behaviors that you have without mentioning them to you. And then the last thing that I'm committing to doing is to be aware of my own tendency to vilify other people for not being where I am, not being as far along as I am in the anti-white supremacy conversation. I often have this sort of natural instinct to sort of get down on someone for not knowing a piece of history that's important, or not knowing something about the complex dynamics of white supremacy. And every time I get angry or vilify someone for something they don't know, rather than taking it as an opportunity to help them along, I miss the chance to make it kind and gentle and encouraging to get involved in the conversation about dismantling white supremacy. Now, this move is something that I know people often ask of Black and brown activists, and that's an unreasonable thing to ask because of the power differential and the sort of tone policing that comes along with that request when it comes from a white person towards a Black or brown person. But it is something that we white people can do for each other, to caretake my past self and the self who didn't know as much as I do now. And it sort of also caretakes the self today who doesn't know as much as I hope I will know tomorrow. and to take that caretaking and give it to someone else who also is not as far along today as I hope they will be tomorrow. And if I can make it a gentle and welcoming conversation that invites them in, then I think it really opens the door for more conversations to happen in the future. So I'm committing to doing these 3 things as part of my work to dismantle white supremacy, and I hope that you'll join me in that. If this seems like a good idea to you and work that you'd like to do with people in your life, please share the idea with them. Either share this video or just talk about your own thoughts about it, and make a commitment to each other to bring it up when we see each other do things that are rooted in white supremacy or that are racist. Make the commitment to not freak out if someone tells you that you did something racist, and instead to sort of recognize we all have racism inside us, and it's not our fault, but it is our responsibility. And this is such a great opportunity to level up as humans with big hearts, with big inclusive hearts, and to move the world in the direction that we want it to go. If you have favorite tools for uprooting and unlearning white supremacy, I would love to hear about them. If you find these tools helpful, I'd love to hear about that too. If you like this video, please like this video. And if you're finding these videos helpful, please subscribe to my channel. Thanks so much.